As Christopher once told me as we were playing basketball in the driveway, I said, I'm done. He goes, yeah, you're done. No, I said, you don't understand. I'm never playing again.
Right.
And he goes, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. Don't ever play.
Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, good times. Father-son times together. Yup, that was the moment where my dad realized he was too old to be playing basketball anymore. Still a hell of a horse player, I'll say that much. But what's up? Chris Sims, and it is Unbuttoned, okay? We got episode 132 today. I didn't even realize that. That's unbelievable. There's been 132 episodes. It's me, solo dolo today. No Ahmed Fareed, no Paul Burmeister. We got a lot of news. We got a lot of things to hit on. I got the big a.k.a. my dad, who is on the phone, maybe listening right now, I'm not sure. We're going to hit on all the free agent quarterbacks and kind of try to match them up with teams. We're going to do it, have a little fun exercise. I have no idea where he thinks some guys are going to go. I know he's probably talked to a few people and has some good inklings. And, of course, my dad studies the game a lot to have his own knowledge there. And I'm going to try to match the guys along with him to teams that we think where this might actually happen. So we're going to do that with the big guy. Got Robin Hood edition, just some, and you know, anybody that's ever listened to my podcast here at NBC Sports or at Bleacher Report, I love the Robin Hood. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. You know, we talk about the same 8 or 9 free agents, the whole free agent period leading up to it. There's some other gems out there and some other stars that are being overlooked. I just want to shed a little light on some of those guys. So I'm going to hit that. And then got the great Josh Norris from Rotoworld. He has his mock draft out. I am in the very early stages of me just getting into film with these college guys. He is further along than me, so I'm going to pick his brain a little bit on some of these guys, and then we'll go over his mock draft, which I'm sure will change as he continues to study as well. Okay, big thing is Dad on the phone? Anybody back there? Okay, Dad's on the phone, and you know, the first thing is, hey, we'd be ignorant not to bring up the coronavirus, the impact it has on professional sports. I am glad to see that everybody's taking the appropriate measures right now in our world to kind of keep us safe. All right, and that filters over into the NFL world, you know. And earlier today, and just so you know, Dad, you know, I know on Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio today, he was talking about maybe free agency needs to be pushed back. And we had a discussion about how, you know, this is these pro day workouts, very stressful on the scouting world of the NFL right now. They're getting a lot of airports. They're going to a lot of colleges. They're traveling around all across the country and meeting a bunch of people that are from different parts of the country too. So that's the perfect way to spread germs. I have had scouts since we got off the show, okay, text me and say, hey, thanks for talking about that on the show. I'm really hoping that the NFL makes some sort of statement and says, you know, for all scouts and NFL personnel to get off the road. So they're wanting that. And I just got off the phone with a head coach who was talking to me and asking me whether he thought that free agency might legitimately get pushed back, and he would like to see it get pushed back because of everything that's going on. So those are things to watch out for. And hey, Dad, what's up? How you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing well. I heard that little piece you played about us playing basketball. Look, the real truth of it is I quit playing because I knew I was, you know, really taking away your confidence after beating your ass for so many years. And I said, well, let my son get a little confidence in what he's doing and play some people he knows he can beat. So that's one thing.
Okay, good, yeah.
But, you know, free agency, moving it back, I would ask this.
Yeah.
What does that do? Because we're not talking about, you know, teams already know who they want in free agency and everything like that, what
right.
they're going to or try to do. It's not about bringing them in like a draft pick and question them. What do they know? You know, they got all the information from their pro tape to know what they're doing.
Yes,
so, I don't know. So that's one thing.
No, I think you're right there. I think that's a legitimate point. I think the point that the coach that I just talked to who was trying to make to me is, you know, to what you're saying, and you're spot on, it's not going to affect the first wave of free agency. Nobody needs to bring in Jadeveon Clowney or some of these upper tier free agent. Those guys, yeah, you're right. They're going to be done. I think it's the second wave of guys, the third wave of guys, where they do like to bring them in the facility, get to know them a little bit, because it's between them or 2 or 3 other free agents at that position, and then, you know, get into some contract talks. I think that's where teams may be worried about it. Not necessarily that first wave.
Yeah, I think that's very good point. Really hadn't thought about it that way because, that second wave of free agents, they're going to have maybe three teams that want them.
Right.
So they want to go there, see if they get the contract they want.
Exactly.
Everybody's checking each other out, waiting to see where it's going to fall and all that.
Right.
So that's a great point. I think the last one you talked about, people, laugh about sometimes about the combine and about workouts with players. And I just say to them, don't make fun of it. It's real.
Yes.
I want to see these kids at the combine. I want to watch them, look at them, check them out, body language, talk to them in the room, everything. Hey, I'm not basing everything on how they perform at the combine, but it just gives me more information. Just like going to pro days and watching people do drills, just getting to meet them and let you know. And I think when you meet players, you get a pretty good feel for them after you watch them, their tapes and all that. Are they really, always my big concern, do they really love football?
Yeah, right.
And I mean, can they just not live without it?
Yeah.
And we see that a lot, and it's real. And I don't like to say it this way, but are you willing to go out in that field and just truly lay it out? You're willing to just do anything and at all costs to try to win, to win that game, win your battle, whatever. And you think, oh, they're all that way. They have such a great opportunity.
Yeah, no, they're not.
They're not.
Right.
If they were all that way, we wouldn't have NFL football.
Yeah.
Because it would be so brutal and so damaging that, they'd have to quit.
Right.
So those are big things. And especially for quarterbacks, I want to see them throw in person.
Right.
I want to see everything, see how I think it's big. And we all make fun of it. A lot of people do. I don't. And, there's just so many answers to that. We'll move on and we'll get to it as we go.
Yeah, it's a lot of good points. The look test is important, as we know. And, I still like to sit here and think that, I wouldn't have been as wrong about Daniel Jones last year if I got to see him in person and got to see the size of the actual man, got to see him move in person. As we both know, you and I, TV can lie, even film can lie at times. It doesn't do justice to all players. And sometimes when you see a guy in person, let's just say at another position, a linebacker, a safety, sometimes you see that guy in person for the first time and you go, oh my gosh, I just didn't realize he was built that way and that big. That makes me think differently about what I saw in the film. I thought he might have been just a little limited in pass coverage, but damn, I didn't realize he was that big of a human being. So he's going to be that much better in the run game department or whatever it may be. All that goes into, evaluating these guys, to your point.
Well, Daniel Jones, you bring up a great one. Watch their one-loss record. As I'll say for the 1,000th time, I don't care about their completion percentage, their touchdowns, their interceptions. I don't care about their team's record. Oh, that's right. And you said it many times. I'll steal it from you. Patrick Mahomes had a losing record his senior year.
John Elway did too.
John Elway, never went to a bowl game in 4 years at Stanford.
Not a winner, Dad. He's not a winner. Can't draft him.
They're not winners. I want a guy that's really good in the clutch. Oh, okay. Well, put him on a really sorry team and all that, and let's see if they can come through in the clutch.
Yeah, right.
Just all that crap, But so that's just that's one thing. And a great example this year. Joe Burrow went into the season, and I remember reading about him, and a lot of things I got to looking at him going, man, he would be a good guy. I watched him on tape his junior year. He was better than I expected. The offense was still limited down at LSU. And then we give him a new offense, and it's a really good offense. I've watched quite a bit of tape on Joe Burrow, and it was well thought out. He was a great decision maker, quick with it. And when he needs to run, he kind of catches you. I knew he was pretty fast.
Yeah.
But when you see him playing Alabama, Georgia, whatever, all of a sudden he takes off. You go, wow, he's more than just pretty fast.
Yeah.
He's real fast.
Yeah,
this is NFL. It's going to be a big factor in his NFL career.
Right. I agree.
But the last thing, too, for you and me.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Right.
You and I talked about him a lot before the draft.
Yeah.
And you're right. If you could have seen him in person throw the football without somebody smashing his face, and then everybody would always go to me, well, I don't like the way he played against Alabama and this and all this. I go, oh, yeah, I thought they were going to wipe it off with Alabama. I can't believe it. No, I'm sorry, talking about Daniel Jones.
Yeah, no, I know.
Burrow.
I know.
But they were talking about Clemson, all these other things.
Right.
And I didn't think Duke was going to win the national championship. That's for sure.
Yeah, so. No doubt about it. No doubt. And yes, I was wrong on my evaluation of Daniel Jones severely.
I got to tell you, that's okay, but you didn't listen.
You did. And to that too, you did. You tried to tell me. And to your credit too, at first your thoughts were a lot like mine on Daniel Jones. Yes. And then you went back and kind of dug in a little deeper and you started to go, hey, Christopher, I think you're not quite giving this guy the credit he deserves. And, yeah, I didn't want to back off my evaluation at that point, so I was there where I was, so I was wrong.
Yeah, I put him, it's interesting. It's almost the Jay Cutler way. He was playing pro football because he was throwing under constant pressure, getting hit as he was throwing it.
Right.
And I think the big thing is at first we both go, man, does he have enough arm? And then as I watched it, and I said to you, I just went, not to say that I was right, you're wrong. That's not what this is about. But I go, when he needs to, he can really pep it. He can put something on it and get it in there.
Right.
And throw, some balls that are contested, but his accuracy and the strength of his arm got it done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. But I think he lived up to everything as a sixth pick of the draft last year. His accuracy, and of course we know he needs experience, and probably his biggest fault, I think, he's a pleaser.
Yeah.
So here's the play. You read 1, 2, and 3. So he was going to read them.
Right.
When he knows, this year he'll go, I don't like the way this feels. Let's take off and run and see if we can make a play or just run use my legs.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
Those are things we need to see.
Yeah, those are things we need to see, but it's all going in the right direction, I think, nonetheless. All right, just some breaking news here real quick. We got two teams taking action. The Washington Redskins, they're calling all people off the road right there. All right, so they're suspending travel for all employees in the Washington Redskins organization. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done the same thing. So here we have two teams. This is where I think the NFL needs to step up a little bit and take this off the teams having to decide this and just make a blanket statement that everybody in the NFL get off the road, get home, and let's limit our contact with people and all that. But good to see two organizations making those calls without the NFL and doing the right thing, at least in my opinion there.
Yeah. Well, I think we will see a blanket statement by the NFL, within the next few days. No more traveling, no more pro days, all this.
Right.
And it comes down to it. I don't know if they can do it or not. Can they push the draft back? Because I think, we're talking about late April. There'll come a time where I think we'll have this under control.
Yeah.
And it'll be safer. And when that will be, I don't know exactly. I listen to all the TV, the scientists and everything, and it's really interesting. But I think we will get it under control. The question is just when, and is it going to be too late to go on the road to do what we were talking about, to get that last bit of information, all that stuff, and that might be tough. We might have pro days where there's nobody there, they film it, and then send it to the team.
Yeah, I think that's
that's what it might come to.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a very real possibility. Actually, I think that's the road we're about to be headed down here in this convo. All right, let's have some fun. All right.
All right.
Free agent quarterback predictions. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get some easy ones right out of the way. All right. I'm trying to make this free agents only. All right. I know we can talk maybe Andy Dalton after we get done with this if we want, or Nick Foles or whatever it may be, but they're not free agents. All right. Let's just do the easy three right off the bat, because I don't think we're going to have any disagreement here. Dak Prescott, Drew Brees, Taysom Hill. You agree with they're staying status quo, right? You don't think Taysom Hill is going anywhere. He's going to be the Saints all the way, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I do, because I think Teddy Bridgewater will move.
Right.
And they're going to keep Taysom Hill. And now they're not afraid if something happens to Drew Brees. They know that through the years and everything, and now he's going to get more repetitions in practice than ever before. If it comes down where they need him for that 5 games, he'll be ready to do it.
Yeah.
And more than just running the football and running the gadget.
Yeah, right.
That's for sure.
Right. Be able to run more of the meat and potatoes of the normal Drew Brees, Sean Payton offense. So, agreed there. And he showed strides in that in the preseason last year and in regular games. All right.
Yeah, he was a guy when I don't watch the 4th game of preseasons anymore because it really is disgusting.
It is.
But the first 3, I watched New Orleans play. He made some throws. I just went, oh my gosh, the speed of the ball, the quality of the throws, the accuracy, everything was really impressive.
It was.
Yep. So.
All right. So we got those. Those are easy. They're done. All right, while we're on it, because you just brought his name up, to me, this is the hardest guy, I think, maybe to place in free agency right now. I don't know where he is going to go. I have a number of teams written down here. I really tried to put in some thought and tried to make sense here to where it could be. Teddy Bridgewater. I sit here and look at it and I just go, I don't know if any team, I'm not sure if I feel like any team is really going to bring him in to be the starter. I think he might be in a situation where, a little bit like last year for Teddy B at least, to go, maybe I'm just going to go to a team where I know the team is good, and this maybe he just looks for a little bit more of a shaky quarterback situation than he had last year with Drew Brees and all that. But Teddy Bridgewater, nonetheless, I'm having a tough one placing him. I really am. Where in your crystal ball do you think he ends up? Because you said he's leaving the Saints for sure. Where do you think? What do you think's the best fit? Who's the team you think that logically is going to think about him?
Well, I heard you talking about this morning, and the talk is now that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and all that. And I go, okay, that could make a little sense because that tells me maybe they'll sign Jameis Winston back, get Teddy Bridgewater, both at decent prices, and then if it unfolds like it did last year for Jameis Winston, then they'll try Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
Now, Bruce Arians, does Teddy Bridgewater fit the Tampa Bay offense?
No, I think he's the opposite of what I would think Bruce Arians wants, really.
Yeah, and you made a great point this morning. Bruce Arians does not alter.
Right.
He gets the quarterback that fits his system.
Right.
Jameis, Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer. I mean, they all had the same thing in common. They were pretty much big in the pocket, stay in there, throw the football down the field, be willing to take chances. I've told you stories. A backup quarterback for Bruce Arians. He ran the football for 10 yards. Whatever, he comes off the sideline. Bruce Arians goes, "What the heck you doing running? Stand in that pocket and make the throw. It was there for you to just take the hit. You'll be okay." I'm not even doing it justice because all the other words when you fill in the blanks. It was really funny, that's for sure.
Yeah. So your little theory there of if they're thinking about Teddy Bridgewater in Tampa, I agree with you. I never thought about it the way you put it. If they're thinking about Teddy Bridgewater, you're right. That would make me believe that they're going to sign Jameis Winston back and combine the two, and you'll have a full-fledged starting quarterback salary. But that would make sense. I get that. I have a hard time figuring it out here, okay? And I think the one I'm going to go with right now, if you got to pin me to one, I'm going to say the Chicago Bears. I think that's where I'm going to go.
Oh, that would be good. Yes, what they do, a lot of the short passes,
right.
The concepts, everything, it does match him for sure.
Yep, they got a great defense. They can play that style of football where, again, what I'll always say about Teddy Bridgewater is he's not going to win you games, but he ain't going to lose you any games either.
No, very conservative,
right.
Plays, not to, compare guys, but, he's Alex Smith. He's going to be very careful with the football,
yes, right.
Not turn it over. And try to win games that way. The fact that they don't turn it over and you can win that battle and all that stuff, I kind of look at him that way. And,
yep.
I think he's a little better thrower than we give him credit for.
Yep.
And in Chicago, it fits for him. The offense, of course, he also wears gloves, so that helps you in bad weather, that's for sure. And again, Chicago's another team. They got to have a guy ready to come in and take over,
right.
If they want to go to the playoffs, or the quarterback, if Mitch Trubisky is not playing the way they think he should, they're not winning the games they should win, then he will be pulled for sure this year if it happens that way.
No doubt about it.
But the other one
right.
is, I know we wouldn't get to it, but I think Tampa, their backup plan that really fits them, to me, is Andy Dalton.
Gotcha.
Right. That fits. He fits their offense. He's not afraid to throw it down the field. He's mobile, can move around enough to buy time when he needs it.
Yep.
And I think he's definitely above average thrower in the league.
Definitely.
And
I agree
think
with
we
you
saw a little bit of that last year. Cincinnati had no chance to win unless he was in the lineup. I know they just won one, but he gave him a chance to win quite a few games where they just couldn't pull it out.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I agree with you. He's definitely one of those guys, just because it's the Bengals and the lack of playoff wins, that we've probably discredited a little bit of his physical talent and not given its due justice there. But okay, so
he did the first 5 years of his career. They went to the playoffs. He was hurt in the fifth. They would have beat the Pittsburgh Steelers if he was playing, I think, that night for sure.
Yeah.
But well, they should have won the game anyway. They, you know, Vontaze Burfict and all that stuff. That's what cost them the game.
Yeah, Jeremy Hill fumbled the ball late in the game. If you remember that too. Yep.
Yep, I do. And I think as time went on, I started to appreciate Andy Dalton more as his career went along. And, you know, I still watch all the Bengals games and everything. And you are right. Please do it. Start over. And they can't because they haven't already changed the uniforms.
I love it.
I actually talked to a player the other day with the Bengals. I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah.
And I said, man, what do you think about those helmets? He goes, well, they don't bother me. Well, they shouldn't. That's not the answer.
That's not the answer.
Say, I love our helmets.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
they don't bother me means it probably needs to be changed.
Yeah, just everything. Get it. Do it. Just change everything. Go out in free agency this year. Sign some guys. It's a start over year, and not to keep going on these things, but AJ Green.
Yeah.
I would trade him, whatever. Is he a total free agent?
Yeah, he's a total free agent. A lot of people think he'll be franchised, and maybe you get a tag and trade, or we'll see where it goes.
Well, if he can be franchised, you can still trade him, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. If you're going to do this, then you got to go all in.
Yeah.
And that would mean that I would let AJ Green go. He's been great for the team, loyal as heck, tremendous player. But you got to make a decision. You can't do something halfway.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to gamble in the NFL to be great, to get to that next level or whatever you want to say as a football team. And the Bengals they're a great example. They got to start taking some chances, be more aggressive, and get this thing started back on the right track.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, a lot of great points. Let's hit another guy. All right, Ryan Tannehill. Let's go right there right now. I mean, I think you and I are probably both in the same boat there, that it's going to be back to the Tennessee Titans all the way.
Sure it is.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Because what team is going to go out there and give him a huge contract for 3 years or whatever?
Right.
I don't think anybody will.
No.
Even though I think he's big, strong, runs well, dead-eye accurate as you can be, throws with power, throws a ball that's easy to catch. I don't think he threw a ball that wobbled the whole year.
Yeah.
And so he really fits the Tennessee Titans and what they do. And, the Brady rumors to Tennessee, I never believed them because it just doesn't fit what Mike Vrabel wants and what they're trying to do as an organization.
No, I agreed there, and I think they probably flirted with Tom Brady a little bit just to bring Ryan Tannehill's contract demands down lower, or at least didn't mind the public attention. Either way, I'm with you there all the way.
You said that, and I just went, oh, my God, I never thought of it that way. Let's throw some names out there to try to scare this guy. But, these agents and players, we know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't think you can fool anybody anymore with that false talk. And, I don't want to say lies, but just trying to get the information out there that helps the football team, which we always hear.
Right. All right, let's go to the next one. I'm going to save the big ones. I'm going to save Brady and Phillip Rivers for last, okay?
Right.
All right, so now I want to go to Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, all right, I heard your little thought about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's another guy where, again, I think we're both in agreement here. And and it's funny, I've had a few conversations with some coaches over the last 10 days, too, about Jameis Winston. Because he's loved by some coaches. Some coaches I know want to kind of take a chance on him because they see the greatness in which he plays. But as we both know, there's these other moments where you just go, damn, that's just so bad. I don't trust it, and I don't think anybody is going to trust him to come in and be a starting quarterback.
Well, listen, much more mobile than he gets credit for. Can really move around.
Mm-hmm.
He's big. He likes to throw the football down the field, makes a lot of great throws. But the problem with Jameis Winston, it's not really decision-making. It's the football gets away from him.
Yeah.
And, I'd like to go over all of his interceptions and see how many times he probably made a good decision, but he overthrew the receiver 4 and 5 yards.
Right.
and things like that. And I don't know if you agree, but to me, that's what holds him back. You know, you can't lose the ball as an NFL quarterback and lose control of it and miss a guy by throwing it 4 yards over his head.
Right, or 5 yards short.
Do this
right.
You can't do it 4 or 5 times a game.
Right.
Which he is. Listen, he is famous for it. I go, man, he's hot today. He's hot. And all of a sudden, go, oh my God. I mean, he just threw it in row 2.
Right.
And it was intercepted. The guy was wide open. But you and I know, we study this stuff a little. There's reasons why he does lose control of the football. Could he fix it now? I don't know. You get to the point in his career. Yeah, you could fix it, but it'd take a lot of work to where he wouldn't lose control of the ball that way, that's for sure.
Okay. So where do you think he ends up? You want me to give mine?
I think he will end up with Tampa. They're going to make him an offer, and it won't be great, but I think he wants to try to make it work there if I was him. And then they'll bring in somebody else that gives them the next guy in case it doesn't go the way we want.
Right.
Just like the Tennessee Titans did last year, I see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I think he'll end up in Tampa with a really good backup behind him. So.
Yeah, I think that's a very real possibility. Okay, assuming that doesn't happen. This is where he's another one like Teddy Bridgewater. It's hard to figure out the places that possibly could want him. One that I've said, and I think I've said it here on the podcast, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I probably would call Jameis Winston.
That would have been, I got it written down here, that would be the first place I would look and try to work it out.
Right.
And is he better than their backup quarterbacks? Oh, I'd say so.
Yeah, right.
And,
right.
I don't even
it
think
protects
that's a
their
question.
team, a little bit too. Like, yes, I know he's dangerous, but, you never know. A new place, a new voice could certainly adjust the guy the way he plays. And to a little bit like, with Teddy Bridgewater, what we saw with the Saints, if Winston goes to Pittsburgh, he's going to have at least a good team around him. He'll have a chance to show people, hey, look, I can be a starting quarterback and further his career. And if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, hey, I think they view themselves as a team that's still kind of in the Super Bowl window right now. I saw enough last year to know that I'm not trusting Mason Rudolph or Duck Hodges to be that team if Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt, that they can get me to the playoffs. I'm not trusting that.
No, not at all. I mean, come on. We saw enough. And, yeah, they'll get better and learn a little more about pro football this offseason and training camp. But, I just think they're both physically limited.
Yeah, right.
And, the Pittsburgh Steelers, hey, listen, the window is closing, man. And it's closing fast.
Yeah.
The offensive line has age on it.
Right.
And it's been so good for so long.
Yeah.
And,
the Cam Haywards, the Stephon Tuitts are getting up there in age.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Right.
Ramon Foster, Pound, everybody. I mean, their whole offensive line, not the whole, the right tackle and left tackle still young, but, they got to worry about the interior of their offensive line. That window is getting close. And the defense finally has gotten it together. And so, again, you got to buy insurance.
Yeah.
And if it's more than you want to spend, you got to spend it, man. You're trying to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
You're not trying to have a good year. The Steelers, they want to win the Super Bowl. With Ben back and a good backup as a safety net, I think the Steelers are one of those teams that we could see drastically be much better this year with the quarterback play getting better.
Yeah, no doubt. Any other team jump out to you? Like, I thought about the Chargers with Jameis Winston a little bit.
No way.
No way. Yeah.
Everybody keeps putting everybody with the Chargers. What have I said many times to you, even here on this?
Yeah.
What does Anthony Lynn want to do?
Yeah, he wants to run the ball, play defense,
That's right. What did he play in the NFL?
Yeah, running back. Right.
Oh, geez, what? It's like an offensive line coach, you know. He's the coordinator. What are they going to do? They're going to run the ball.
Right.
No, we weren't. We're going to. So it doesn't make sense. Some of the names they throw out there.
Yeah.
Even Tom Brady going there. I just don't see it.
No, I don't either.
He wants to play Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Anthony Lynn, because Tyrod takes care of the ball. He's mobile. He's going to make plays there. He gets out of trouble. And with the running back situation and their defense playing better.
Yeah, it's a top
really,
5 defense.
So all that tells me, honestly, were you a little surprised last year at the end of the year they didn't put Tyrod Taylor in?
Well, definitely, no doubt about it. And I know from people involved, or who know people in that organization, that there was a lot of talk within the Chargers about wanting to play Tyrod Taylor, but I think they were overranked to just let Phillip Rivers finish out the season, and
that's right.
It'll be the end of his career there.
That's right. And so I look at the Chargers, and I see the guy they bring in as another quarterback. You hear Justin Herbert's name.
Yeah.
You other guys. I know. I look at the XFL. P.J. Walker. I mean, listen, he's Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, right.
Except he's probably a better thrower.
He's a better thrower. He is. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got great feet, quick. He's been taught well. He was in Indianapolis, of course, with Frank Reich, so he really knows a lot about how to play the game. He played well when he did there. Was with Indianapolis in preseason games, but there just wasn't a place for him.
Yep.
I was actually very, very surprised nobody picked him up to be the third guy on the team, whatever. Did he play in a practice squad last year? I should know this, but I don't.
I don't know if I know that either. I don't think he did. I don't think he
did, which is another confusing thing, why you wouldn't pick him up at least to be on your practice squad. But, you know why? Because he's Phillip Walker.
Yeah.
Just not a big enough name.
Yep.
People don't pay attention. And I think it was a mistake by many, many teams in the league. They should have picked him up at least to be on the practice squad and watch him practice and go, oh, this guy's a hell of a lot better than we thought.
Yeah.
Well, you should have known that before anyway. You shouldn't have to have it confirmed, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. All right, that's Jameis Winston. I'll be very intrigued to see where it goes. I think there's a good chance that, yes, what you said could be very real there. I have no inside information on the Pittsburgh Steelers thing. I just tried to try to figure out one other team other than Tampa Bay that I thought would make sense, and that was the one that made sense to me. All right.
Yeah, you think about the Pittsburgh offense.
Yeah.
It's a lot of short throws.
Right.
So he can handle that. But also, they don't have a great in-between passing game.
Yeah, it's really short or deep as hell. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would kind of fit him, and, the fact that they got a great little short passing game. It'll make, I think, the lanes to throw to, decision-making should be easier for him. So I'm very interested in if he does leave Tampa, where does he end up? That'll be a big question. And, of course, somebody's going to want him. It's just a question of who.
All right, so Marcus Mariota. Now, that's the last one before we get to Brady and Rivers. Marcus Mariota. Mine... I think the Raiders one makes sense. I do hear, I can understand John Gruden liking him. I understand that. Now, the Chargers are one I would look at maybe with Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, he would be a pretty good second chance or second choice to play. If Tyrod Taylor goes out there, which he won't.
Right.
He won't.
Right.
He's going to play well, and like we've talked about, how he's going to play. But Marcus Mariota, he was great with Ryan Tannehill. I mean, they both really respected each other. He was all behind Tannehill. I watched him during the championship game, and his body language towards Tannehill was unbelievable. And so Marcus Mariota, unfortunately, I think he's just a good, solid backup.
Yep.
That's what he is in the league. And I think that was proven just by watching him play and then seeing Tannehill play.
Right.
And it also tells us situations mean something.
Yeah.
Okay, Tannehill played for the Miami Dolphins. I never looked at them and say, wow, look out, they're going to win it all.
Right.
So he got hurt. That hurt his performance. Had to lose weight to try to stay healthy, take stress off his knee. But when he threw the ball, I don't remember seeing him in a game where going, wow, he threw the ball bad.
Yeah.
Again, he had great control of the football. He threw it with power. They didn't throw it down the field a lot, but it seems like when they did, he hit a much higher percentage than you would expect for 40-plus yards throw down the field.
I think I'm going to go Marcus Mariota to the Arizona Cardinals. That's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, I could see that. The backup for the Arizona Cardinals
Brett Hundley was, and he's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
So that's this is no inside knowledge. I'm just trying to place a guy that seems to fit that type of style of play, and that's where I'm going to say with Marcus Mariota.
Brett Hundley is big.
Yeah.
He can really run.
I know.
And,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm Arizona.
You might just
I hate
stay
to
there.
Say this, I might stay with him.
Yeah,
try to get him.
I get it.
see what happens in the open market when he's out there. And, you got a quarterback on a rookie contract. So now's the time where you can keep somebody that knows your system. If they trust him enough, that's the question. I think we'll find out. But make him an offer that makes him want to stay there.
Yeah, right.
I think they could afford to do that. I didn't look at the salary cap, but just knowing that, this rookie contracts really seem to help all the teams, as we've seen, who's going to the Super Bowl and all that. But I think they'll try to keep Brett Hundley. I really do.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked there either. Either way, I think Marcus Mariota is a backup quarterback, to follow up on what you said.
I really can't figure the team out.
Right.
That where I go, oh, he really fits there. Maybe one would be Dallas.
Okay, you're right. Not bad.
Just because who's the backup for Dallas?
I want to say it's Cooper Rush.
It is.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
I was a little quiz.
Okay. Yeah.
Because during the year, we were sitting at the set, and somebody goes, "Who's the backup quarter?" I said, "Who's the backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys?" $20 if you can answer within 30 seconds. And everybody sat there, don't know. And nobody knows because Dax stayed healthy, plays every play of every game, and we'll know about Cooper Rush. I don't know when we'll find out about him as an NFL player. Does a pretty good job in preseasons, but we've never seen him during a game.
No, never seen him. All right, let's get to the juicy shit here. All
oh,
right?
boy.
Let's go. First off, we'll leave Brady for last because he's, the GOAT or whatever. So let's go.
Right.
Let's go Phillip Rivers first. Phillip Rivers, I'm really, there's a few teams, I guess, that I feel like would be interested in Phillip Rivers. I think to me it boiled down to more than anything just going, okay, would he go to Tampa with Bruce Arians, right? Because I think you and I would both agree that he would fit that type of play. He'll stand in that pocket forever. He doesn't ever care if people are around him. That's one of his greatest qualities, especially at this age. He's still tough as hell. He likes to throw the ball down the field.
Yep.
And then I think the other common one out there that you hear, and rightly so, is the Indianapolis Colts.
I haven't heard it. I thought that right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard it ever really become a rumor.
Right.
So, why? I don't know, but he knows Frank Reich. Frank Reich coached him, of course, down in San Diego, and he would really fit their offense too. And
yes, he would.
Just by going what I read, I don't know anything either, that they know they want to move on from Jacoby Brissett.
Yes, they are. They're moving on from him. I also have been told by people I trust, Ryan Tannehill, Phillip Rivers really wants to go to the Tennessee Titans, but that's not happening.
He doesn't fit their offense again.
No, you're right. He does not.
He does not fit it. When you're going to try to run the football and play defense, your quarterback has got to be somebody that can, play a different game, which Tannehill can. He can stand in the pocket as a true drop-back quarterback, and we said it, he's accurate. And, of course, probably should run more, I think. He doesn't use his legs enough because he's another one. He's trying to read it and do what the play is designed to do, hangs in there.
Right.
Throws under pressure very well, so that's good. And so I can't imagine Tennessee swapping out Tannehill for Phillip Rivers.
All right, so there it is. I'm saying Colts. I'm going Phillip Rivers Colts. I think that's what's going to happen.
Too.
Okay.
Really good offensive line.
Yeah.
As I watched them this year, I know there was things going on. Jacoby Brissett was not healthy all the time. T.Y. Hilton was always hurt, all this other stuff. But, you could see their offense change. And it wasn't, the passing game wasn't near as creative as it was the year before. And there was many reasons why, of course, injuries and all that. But Frank Reich, I would watch their offense when he was down to that first year, and I go, wow, they are doing some really cool stuff.
Right.
Stuff that I go, I don't think I've ever seen this.
Yeah.
Andy Reid pulls one out every year. You go, I've never seen that.
Right.
And then you see it about 10 times during the year, and then, by then everybody's starting to copy it. But nobody runs it as well as the team that originally puts it in.
Yeah. And then if you didn't think Colts, you'd probably think Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Would you be along those things?
Yeah, I think he fits that system very well, can hang in the pocket. He's a very quick decision maker. And, look, when he knows he's in trouble, he anticipates throws probably as good or better than anybody in the league. And one of the reasons why he can anticipate, because he's going to throw the football with touch. He's not going to gun it in between people.
Right.
He can a little bit. He's got a little stronger arm than people give him credit for. But that delivery of his, everybody makes fun of it. I think you and I both know there's a lot to it that's really good. And he could throw off his back foot, Again, he's another guy that very seldom loses control of the football, and he would fit Tampa Bay's offense for real.
Yeah, I agree. I guess my thinking, what I came down to, too, just to hit on this guy, I think that Andy Dalton goes opposite. He's Colts or Tampa Bay. That's what I think I came down to in my thinking here. Right. Because what happened to me here was I always thought kind of Andy Dalton would end up with the Bears. But then when I got forced to pick teams, the Bears have no draft picks. I mean, they're void of draft picks. So I don't see how they're going to trade for Andy Dalton and really do that right now. So that's why I ended up going them with Teddy Bridgewater. And then I think Andy Dalton ends up opposite of Phillip Rivers. If Phillip Rivers Tampa, then Andy Dalton ends up with the Colts, or vice versa. That would be my logic there.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And of course, the main domino. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
We haven't talked about it yet.
Do it.
But if Brady leaves, who do the New England Patriots go out and try to get?
Yeah.
Who would be their guy? Would it be Teddy Bridgewater?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. But come on, let's be honest. Tampa. New England throws a tremendous amount of short passes.
You're right. And if they're just looking for a bridge quarterback guy, I mean, they might be just saying, okay, yeah, this isn't our perfect fit, but we feel like he could come here, learn the offense, and execute it. Yes.
Yeah, and I think Bill Belichick probably thinks Andy Dalton's a lot better player than the public does.
Yes, would agree there. I would think that would be the guy that they would really attack if Tommy ends up leaving town. I would think Andy Dalton would be the guy that they call and try to get into New England.
Yeah, I think Andy Dalton's, he's got, when I look at him, I think he has got as many opportunities that are going to be out there for him than maybe just about anybody. He fits a lot of teams. He fits Tampa Bay. He fits Chicago. He could fit New England.
Yeah.
You can't say that about many quarterbacks that could fit all three of those systems.
Yeah, that's right. It's a very good point. All right, so back to Sir Goatness, okay? Where do you think freaking Tom Brady's going to end up at?
Well, it's not going to be the Chargers. I feel positive about that.
Yeah.
I don't think he would end up in Tampa Bay, which who said it's a done deal? Rick Stroud?
Well, he was saying, I know Rick Stroud was saying that he thought the Bucs were going to go all in on it, which I could see them doing that. With Jason Light, the GM, being there, who has been in New England. And then I've always felt like the Glazier family has had a wanting to get a marquee name like that as a part of their organization. You remember when I was playing there, we got into the Brett Favre sweepstakes after I lost my spleen. They were always trying to look at it there. Of course, drafting Jameis, trying to draft the quarterback from Kansas State. What the hell is his name? I'm blanking out on it. They drafted him in the top 20. Who was that damn quarterback they drafted?
From Kansas State?
Yes, number 5, Josh Freeman. Remember Josh Freeman?
Oh, Josh Freeman.
Right.
Yes, that's right. My God.
They've been trying.
Had a good year.
Right.
And then.
Yeah, and then fell off earth.
It was over.
Exactly right. So
I don't look at Brady as fitting the system in Tampa.
Yeah.
It's so much downfield throwing, and Bruce Arians is not going to change, and the receiving core. They need O.J. Howard to really turn into the player they hope he's going to be. That would be a big deal if he's still there.
Right.
But I just don't see that. I really don't. Again, I believe it's one of those things we're all in because they're trying to drive Jameis's price tag down.
Yeah, okay.
And you know what? If I was Jameis Winston, whatever they offer me, I'd go, thank you, sir. I'll take it.
Yeah, okay. I get that too.
If they really stick it to me,
right,
I still would take it because they know you know the system, and I still think deep down there's a little belief that he can get it done.
All right. Well, I'm going to stick it to you, and you still didn't answer the freaking question. Where do you think
Tom Brady? Where's he going to end up?
Yeah, right. It's San Francisco or New England. That's right. That's
all it is.
Right.
That's all it is. Man, let's put it this way: does San Francisco have the courage?
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be met with disapproval from their fan base or probably anybody in the league. Man, it's a tough question. I'm going to say he ends up in San Francisco, just guessing. Yeah, I think he might. It's close, but I think he will. I don't think that you've said it many times. Of course, I listen to you because I know you know a lot about that. you kind of delve into the underworld more than I do now because I don't care about the underworld anymore. I don't trust anybody, what they say. I know they're lying to me because they think I'm going to tell somebody else. So don't even tell me. I don't care.
Right.
But it does fit. And the Patriots, you've said it, and I believe it, they're not going to bend over backwards to pay him, And two, I did it. I didn't change teams, but I had Dan Reeves in my 15th year.
Yeah.
Brand new system. Everything is different. And I'm going to tell you what, it was so exciting. So many new teammates, new coaches. So you got to prove yourself. It was awesome to be part of that, to do something different and whatever. And then actually, which I wasn't accustomed to, but, I could give ideas about plays. Oh, we like that. Let's put it in. And protections. Why are we doing this when we could do this? Well, hadn't thought about that. Let me think about it. The next day, it'd be in. I'd go, wow, this is really cool. I get to – Dan Reeves actually asked me one time, and I came to the sideline. He goes, well, what do you want to do?
Right. Culture shock.
Yeah, culture shock. And then once in the Cowboy game for the playoffs –
right, the Emmitt Smith shoulder game, right.
The what?
The Emmitt Smith shoulder game.
The Emmitt Smith shoulder game.
Right.
We go into overtime. The wind is blowing from our sideline left to right, which it always did at Giant Stadium. And Dan Reeves goes, man, if we won the toss, should I defend this goal and get the wind behind us?
Right.
And I can remember sitting there going, boy, that's probably the thing to do. But if we do that and they score, man,
yeah,
they're gonna roast you, coach.
Right.
And he goes, okay, we'll take the ball.
And you guys lost.
I can't remember if we won the toss or the Cowboys gave it to us. But we had to go into the win, and I think we were going to go down and kick a field goal or something or whatever to win the game. But
yeah, I think you won the toss.
We did? Okay. But we got a stupid, horrendous penalty for 15 yards because they said one of our linemen hit another guy while he was engaged with another offensive lineman. That rule.
Right.
It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. So, but Cowboys were a great team, and the weather, all that other stuff gave us a chance to compete with them. And the fact that we were home, too. Probably one of the most emotional crowds I ever played in at Giant Stadium was that day.
It was. It was a great day. It really was.
Yeah.
It was a very loud stadium, and, of course, the Cowboys were the king of the NFL at that time. And
they were so good.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I tell people all the time, you tell me that the best team you ever played against was the 92-93 Dallas Cowboys. And I think people are shocked to hear that answer come out of my mouth when I tell them that.
Well, they did win, 3 Super Bowls in 4 years.
Right.
And, I've told this story. George Henshaw was the quarterback coach, I guess. I'd go in there on Wednesday morning. I'd watch some film on him already. I'd come in. So what do you think, George? And he just goes, oh, Phil, they're so good. And I said, no, I don't want to hear that. He goes, if we run a play to perfection, we can get 4 or 5 yards. and just, he had that old Southern draw or whatever.
Right,
it was,
right.
But you remember, and I don't know fans, it's so long ago, but they truly had 2 starting defensive lines.
Yeah.
I mean, first-rounders, stars at every spot. So, but whatever. I don't know how I got on that subject, but I talked about it, and there it is.
Yep, there it is.
But it'll be interesting. Can Tom Brady, and, I heard you talking this morning about, at the offseason, learning his teammates and the system. Look, he'll be able to do it. He's going to, if he goes there and they cancel something, whatever, he's still going to have the playbook. He's talking on the phone with the coaches.
Yeah, right.
He's going to correlate everything to what he did. They'll incorporate some of his plays that they study to make him feel a little more comfortable too. But Tom Brady's a really good play action throwing quarterback. He can throw outside the numbers. His arm is still I would almost say elite strength and everything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, right.
I mean, it's amazing.
Right.
I watched the little videos of him working out and throwing. I go, man, he's still ripping that ball. I'll tell you that.
Right.
So he's worked hard at his craft, and it's a great thing for all the other quarterbacks around the league to learn. Oh, I don't throw during the off season. I'll wait till June to start throwing. Well, that's kind of stupid.
That is. That's stupid.
You think basketball players take off 4 months from shooting?
Right. No.
Oh, I got to go out and throw the ball. It's so much work.
All right, I'm saying he stays in New England. I'm going to say he stays.
Well, that's because you're chicken to make a statement, so that's okay.
I am. I'm chicken.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would say his chances of staying in New England are greater than going to San Francisco.
Right.
But I think the thought process, it's going to take courage by two people, the team and Tom Brady to make this move.
Yeah, no question about it. And I ultimately believe in my heart of hearts, just from people I've talked to, and I have a little knowledge of the situation, I really think he wants to go to San Francisco. And I think it boils down to what you said. Does San Francisco have the guts to make that switch and do that? I don't know if they do or not. So that's going to be interesting. But, yeah, I think ultimately, if you make me guess, I'm just going to say he ends up back with the Patriots. I do.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah, right.
Do you think they're a better football team with Tom Brady at quarterback, San Francisco?
I do. I believe, yes.
Do their chances of winning the Super Bowl go up?
Okay, this will be the way, yes, they do. And you said You said it last week, and I agree with you. I think Tom Brady can do more with more than Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jimmy Garoppolo could maybe do more with less and make a few plays that way. But I think in that offense, with that way it's set up right now, yes, I think Brady could take advantage of what Kyle Shanahan dials up more than Jimmy Garoppolo. I definitely do.
Yeah, I do too. I had one other point I was going to make, and I forgot it already.
But you're old, and you forgot because you're old.
No, it's not about old. You know what it is? Because my mind just races with ideas.
Yeah, I know.
I go, I need a damn pad, write that down, a word, so I don't forget it.
Watch me on the show. I got it right now. That's what I do because I know I'm going to forget it. I got too many thoughts that go through my head, so I write them down because I know I'm going to forget and then go, oh, shit, what the hell was I going to say?
Yeah, I know. What was the last thing about Brady? It was going to be about Brady. But, yeah, well, never mind. We've already said it all.
We hit it all.
I think if he does it and the energy that will go through him and all that, and of course, the teammates will be in awe of him. And when he goes out on the practice field, they're going to see right away, whoa, old man can still throw it.
Right.
So that'll take all the edge off of the players, and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. We'll find out soon. I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, I can't wait either, Dad. Hey, Dad, you the man. Thanks for spending the time with us today, man.
Listen, my address is send the check here, okay?
Okay, we'll send it there. No problem. I know where you live. All right, Dad.
Okay.
Love you. See ya. All right, we got a visitor, okay? He's got a big neck. He's very smart, all right? But
that's where the brain is?
That is. You got a lot of brains. It's filtered down from your brain. That's why you're so smart. You got
overflow.
It's in your brain and went down to your neck. It's a bigger brain than the average man. But Josh Norris, Rotoworld, you do an awesome job. And really everything you do.
Thanks, man.
Fantasy football, your evaluations of players, I respect it. I certainly do. You got your mock draft out. I'm in early phases, as you know. I know you still are, too.
Yep.
But you're deeper into this game than I am. So everybody check out Josh Norris, Rotoworld, mock draft, worth it. Listen to his podcast, him and his crew, his posse, his duet, whatever you want to call it. Friends?
We're actually friends on my podcast.
Okay, fine. Friends. Guys that I like to rag on that are part of his posse, but they are all over all things of the NFL, the draft, so I suggest anybody listen to that stuff. All right, your mock draft. I mean, surprise, surprise, we know Joe Burrow's number one. All right, I got you there. Right away, I want to go to pick number 2, though.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the common thought right now is it's going to be Chase Young to the Washington Redskins. You think it's going to be Tua Tagovailoa or Tagovailoa? I still can't say his fucking name. Tua. You think it's going to be him. Let me just hear the logic behind that.
Well, one, I think mock drafts are great for possibilities.
Sure.
And when I look at the Washington Redskins, last year, I don't know if Dwayne Haskins really instilled the confidence I would have wanted out of a rookie top 20
Sure.
pick.
I think there's concerns even with Washington there, too. Right.
And you go back and look at rookie seasons like Lamar Jackson, like Baker Mayfield, like Sam Darnold, like Josh Allen, even what Daniel Jones showed this year, Kyler Murray, obviously. I just didn't get that same confidence. Now, I've gotten a lot of pushback from Redskins fans being like, well, the final 3 games showed me that.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to be, and not even just a Chicago Bears situation where you take Mitch Trubisky ahead of Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, but even in that year like a Jacksonville Jaguars situation or other teams that had average quarterbacks where they could have had one who was outstanding. Because I think Tua is an outstanding player.
Yeah.
Now, it's not the easiest evaluation. He played inside of a clean structure, and more important than anything, it's the medicals. And the medicals, obviously the reports from Ian Rappaport and everyone else have come out very positive, but it's just different. You know, it's not a knee, it's not a shoulder, it's a hip.
No,
and that's just a road that NFL teams just have not wanted to go down before, and they haven't gone down it before, and they hate being the first to do it.
Yeah, well, you know, and to what you're saying here too, also, you know, the medical reports we're hearing, and again, I'm rooting for Tua. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I know people in the NFL think that Tua and his camp are misleading people about how quickly he'll be healthy, all right? Second thing is, I'm not believing the Ian Rappaports of the world or anybody with these type of things. Would they talk to Tua's agent who told him it was going to? Of course he told him everything was on schedule. Right? So that's where I just go, okay, teams are going to have to evaluate for themselves. Special player, no doubt about it. I am concerned. Like, I have a legit concern. Just from the early thing I've seen, and again, phenomenal. I mean, can wheel and deal, throw the ball anywhere he wants. He's a better athlete than I even gave him credit for when I turned on film. He really is. And the ball pops out of his hand with more power than I think I ever really gave it credit for when I started to look more closely.
And he has that touch, obviously.
He does. He's got it all. He is a passer, a thrower, whatever you want to say about him. He is complete that way. But the size, the style of play, and the one thing that has come up to me a little bit, and again, I haven't deep dived yet. I'm watching like POAs right now, right?
Yep.
He does have a hard time getting out of harm's way. He does. And
he likes to hold on to it
just
for that
a little too
extra
long.
tick.
You're right.
It's like Deshaun Watson in that regard.
Right.
And we've seen Deshaun take a beating. Having to take buses in between games. And he's not coming out of Alabama with, and Matt Money Smith actually talked about this in the Around the NFL podcast. Tua's surgery was deemed a trauma surgery. And it's not a longevity surgery. And while it might be great now, again, teams just don't know because you don't have to deal with trauma surgeries all that often. I mean, we are no doctors, but we're just trying to put pieces together. And, you know, it's not a new regime necessarily from a front office perspective. But with Washington, they have come in and completely cleaned house. I mean, Ron has taken everyone from Carolina up there. And, you know, if you want to start fresh, and reading between the lines with Haskins, too, how much Ron Rivera is talking about, it's so great to see him in the locker room. And, you know, if you read between the lines, that means he wasn't doing that last year.
Exactly right. That's exactly what it is. And, you know, I know, so I don't need to, like, read between the lines.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. You know,
I tried to steal your contacts out of your phone earlier, but it didn't happen.
But I know you know, too. You've heard from some of those same concerns that I've heard from people involved in the Washington Redskins about Dwayne Haskins. And that, yes, it wasn't tip-top professional quarterback type dedication they saw through the better part of the season last year. I think it got better as the season progressed, and then I think the offseason has started off in the right way. All right, enough on the QB there. Chase Young, just hit me up a little bit. I haven't watched a snap yet.
Really?
I have not. I've not gone there yet. I just want to hear, again, I know he's a stud. I saw enough to know that. Comparable to the Myles Garretts, the Jadeveon Clowney, just give me a quick little synopsis of the guy or what pops to you.
We don't have a full athletic profile on him yet. While Clowney and Myles Garrett were just complete freaks of nature. We've kind of been, you know, it's been generous how good these edge rushing talents have been in recent years. Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, they've all just been fantastic. And Chase Young, I think the best way to designate him is that he can be a primary rusher on an NFL team. And that seems super generic, but when you go into a game knowing that you can game plan one-on-one situations 10, 15, 20 times a game when the other team is throwing the football, and you can rely on Chase Young to win you those matchups. Not every time, obviously. But if he can, you know, get 7 pressures or 5 pressures, 3 sacks, that changes the course of the game and leads to turnovers and leads you to having the big play differential. He offers that. And safe is a word that's thrown out generally, but I think the way that he wins at the college level with his combination of speed and power and flexibility, and that he has a plan when he rushes the passer, that easily translates to the NFL.
Yeah, okay. I hear you there. I'm excited to watch him. Like I said, it's been total TV.
It's an easy evaluation.
I would think so. I don't think I'm going to have to watch 400 plays of him to figure him out. All right, let's get a little offensive line talk here, because it's an interesting position. You know, you got, Mekhi Becton going number 4 to the Giants. You got Tristan Wirfs, the stud from the Combine, going number 7 to the Carolina Panthers. Makes a lot of sense. The Arizona Cardinals need tackle help. You got Jedrick Wills going there from Alabama. First off, Wirfs, guard all the way. What do you think goes on there?
So first overall with his offensive tackle class.
Tell us, say it all.
We'll get to wide receivers, but and the wide receiver group has been deemed this generational talent group this year. I would actually say at the top that the offensive tackle class might be even more impressive. We know how much needed it is for more starters along the offensive tackle spot, offensive line spot across the NFL. We're finally going to get that injection this year. Wirfs is a fascinating one because he's one of the maybe rarest athletes we've seen at that offensive line spot coming to the NFL for years. He was one of the first freshmen to ever start at Iowa along that offensive line, and we know it's a factory that they produce them. So I had found that out about him before I went and watched his game, thinking that, okay, this is going to be a perfect, easy evaluation. It wasn't. Despite all that athleticism, he kind of gets off balance. He overextends. Goes
for the kill too much?
No, I think it's just a balance issue. Like he plays on his toes a little more too often than playing on his heels.
Yeah, okay.
It's someone who I'm a little nervous that obviously he can be taught how to play once you get to the NFL. But for someone that has had this much playing time, which is that athletic, and you see it all pop up. I mean he's a freak.
He's a freak.
Who started this? Was it Jerron Gilbert? Remember that name?
Yeah, I do remember it. But, I can't remember who started it. But either way, that is amazing at that size and weight to be able to do that.
You do see the anchor. You do see the recovery. But too often he plays on the ground. So could a team view him as a guard? Sure. I think that he played on the left side, he played on the right side. Tackle most likely is where he's going to end up. And despite those questions we have about his on-tape evaluation, he should be a top 10 selection.
Okay. Either way, I will say this, and I know you know more than me about these guys anyways right now. Wirfs, at my first look, looks like a guard to me. He does, but I don't know that. I'm just saying that right now. Total.
Did Zach Martin have that same look to you?
He did. Yes, I thought Zach Martin was a guard prospect all the way. I mean, I thought somebody might make him, maybe somebody makes him a tackle. He can go there and be a starter and be really good. But I always thought, guard is going to be the spot where I think he could be special.
Can we talk about the transition? Because a lot of people just think it's arm length from tackle, then you move inside to guard if you're not as long. No, it's more that you can hold up on an island, right? You can hold up in one-on-one situations. And when I went back and watched Zach Martin, his base was so wide that it looked like he could work and function better in that mess and trash when he was actually bookended by someone else. I think Wirfs can operate on that island because he is athletic with his pass set and everything else. But again, you got to fix the balance issues because you don't want to end up on the ground when you're in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch these offensive tackles.
Becton is fascinating too. Because in that Louisville offense, I'm sure you've watched it in the last few years, he didn't have those individual one-on-one matchups. In some ways, it reminded me of Greg Robinson coming out of Auburn, in that, they throw the ball a lot, but he either has help or he crashes down, they chip the
they're always
rusher.
sliding and doing things like that,
I think he was only charted with about 60 pure pass sets last year. And that's not enough. I mean, compared to like 160 with Wirfs, 200 with other guys. So that would be my only question. He throws people out of the club when he gets his hands on it.
Well, I mean, he better. Being that big, he better, okay?
A 5'11" at 364 pounds.
Insanity. You got 5 tackles going in the top 14, right? If I got that right?
You do.
So that I am very excited to dive into that group. All right, one other thing. You number 9 got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Jeffrey Okudah. Listen, I got no issue with any of that. I just want you to explain, is Okudah clearly the guy at corner, like it's no contest from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, and I have other ones like in C.J. Henderson at number 11, Jalen Johnson at number 25. I actually hate watching corners. I think those of us who sit up here and think we are perfect evaluators for every single position.
We all have our strengths and minuses about certain positions.
And mine is probably corners because I have to watch so much more with them to get a feel for them. With that being said, I feel like I know exactly who Jeffrey Okudah is as a player. You don't necessarily talk, and maybe talking about tackling first overall for a corner is wrong, but with him, it just shows up every time there's something in the flats in his area, and he just runs up like he's, Lito Shepherd tackling Reggie Bush and just destroying him in the back. But then he's got the short, choppy steps. He stays in phase. He's everything that you want in a corner, and I have him 9 here, which is sliding. I could easily see him as the pick at 3 with the Detroit Lions if they do move on from Darius Slay. Anybody comparable to him, you think, that you look at in the NFL? Any names that I don't mean to put you on the spot there, but I just was trying to think okay, is he in the same class as the Denzel Ward out of Ohio State from 2 years ago? It's that kind of player. Yes. And actually the safety position is fascinating this year too. Because, and I don't know if you can consider Isaiah Simmons a safety linebacker. He's kind of one of those hybrid players.
Yes, right.
But there's a lot of those hybrid players this year, too. Xavier McKinney from Alabama.
Sure.
Kyle Duggar from Lenore-Ryan, which is a tiny school, I believe, in North Carolina.
Yeah, I know nothing about him.
They're all fantastic athletes, and you just hope that they wind up on a team that understands and knows how to use that type of player, that they don't just line them up in one spot and ask them to do the same thing, play in and play out.
Right.
You know, the Miami Dolphins would be a great spot with any of those guys. They could kind of do hybrid Patrick Chung, Calvin Noy type things with them and just move them all. Derwin James, move them all around.
Yeah, right.
Just hope they end up in the right spot.
Yeah, I hear you there. Simmons is certainly one of the most intriguing specimens in the draft. And yes, I have a hard time believing that there's any way he gets outside of the top 12, no matter what position you think he should play.
Right.
All right, receivers. Let's hit on that. That's one where I'm excited. Like, I've heard some people think, like, oh, because there's so many receivers, people are going to, not make a run on them in the first round. It's going to wait. I think it's going to be the opposite. First off, I think last year is going to prove to some teams where they're going to go, wait, we didn't draft Deebo Samuel or DK Metcalf, and we let them in the second round, and we saw what they did for their teams.
Right.
And I think it's going to change teams this year to go, wait, these guys are too talented. And I think there's a group, or at least I know there's probably 10 or 12 really top-notch receiver, but I think there's 4 or 5, just from what I've seen, that's kind of stand out from the rest. Give us your synopsis of the receiver position and just the ones that jump out to you.
I think there's a top 2, and then there's a gap in between there. The top 2, in whatever order you want to put them.
You're going Ruggs and CeeDee Lamb.
I'm going to go Jerry Jeudy and
CeeDee Lamb. Jerry Jeudy. Okay, all right.
I think Jerry Jeudy, and, it's easy to make comparisons to players that have been successful from the same college recently, and it's the same position. He does remind me, he's on like the Calvin Ridley spectrum. I think that's the bottom for him, and the top one might be Stephon Diggs.
Right.
And you just don't see players coming out of college that are just that adept and comfortable in creating separation and sustaining it in their routes.
Right.
And he's not one of these fantastic athletes. Like, he tested in like the 20th percentile. But Calvin Ridley was the same, Stephon Diggs was the same, and having that type of player that can come in and at the very worst be like your secondary receiver, or just put him in the slot and let him operate there like the Falcons did with Ridley makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's funny, I walked in today in the building and someone at the desk was saying that CeeDee Lamb was compared to DeAndre Hopkins. And I asked who said that, and they said Chris Sims said that, because that's the exact comparison I have down here too. Between a little of the POAs I've seen, watching his pro day workout yesterday, all of that, that's just who he reminds me of. Not the guy that's going to blaze you for 70-yard touchdowns, but, going to catch all those 50-50 balls, got great ability to adjust the ball in the air, can go over the middle, be tough. And where I would say he's better than a DeAndre Hopkins is this here. When he's got the ball in his hands, he wins.
He wins. He's got unbelievable. His ability to make people miss and juke people with the ball in his hands is actually better than when he runs routes, which is a little weird to me. But yeah, there's value for this guy in the NFL. This is the type of guy that I think I've undervalued sometimes.
In previous years?
Yeah, in previous years where, maybe didn't give the Michael Thomases and the DeAndre Hopkins of the world enough credit for their physicality, their toughness, their hand strength, and the value that has in the NFL. And I think that's what he brings. So with all that, you still have Henry Ruggs going as your first receiver off the – and this is, to me, this is where it's fascinating. Just from my NFL friends that I've talked to.
Yeah, let me hear this.
I would say more have Ruggs right now as the number 1 guy. I know.
Is that just pure speed?
I don't know, and I haven't evaluated enough to give my personal reason of why that is. Now, I've had other ones go Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
But I've heard Ruggs and CeeDee Lamb, and then Jerry Jeudy is third more than I've heard the other way around, which, again, I'm not saying they're right or wrong or you're right or wrong. Either way, I think, I'm with you. Jeudy is the guy that jumps out to me as being the best one. Polished, can do everything. I think he's actually plays faster than his 40 time, which looks to me. So, but go ahead, just expand on that.
If I could equate Henry Ruggs to someone in last year's class, it would obviously be Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
Someone that is just pure speed.
Right.
And that speed travels game to game. And even if he's not on the stat sheet or on the scoreboard, his impact is felt.
Yeah, right.
And that's important. We've seen teams' offenses completely collapse without that type of player on the field.
Philadelphia Eagles.
We've seen it with Philly. We've seen it with the Houston Texans without Will Fuller.
Sure, right.
I could go on and on and on.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it is just personal preference, right? It's what flavor you like.
And what your team needs and all that. Right, yep.
But I mean, you see him with manufactured touches at Alabama. You just see him with pure explosion. I would say that there's someone else in this class that could offer those same types of things, but isn't mentioned in that same group, and it's Jalen Reagor coming out of TCU.
Okay, right.
It's fascinating. If you go and look at his athletic profile versus DK Metcalf, they're almost identical.
He's some specimen looking in person.
Meaning a fantastic straight line speed, amazing jumps in the vert and the broad.
Right.
But then the agility scores are not good. They're well below average.
Right.
But the difference between Metcalf and Reagor is 4 inches and about 20 pounds. So you ask yourself, can a team use Reagor in the exact same way that the Seahawks use Metcalf? And they, you know this, they were super methodical and slow in the development with Metcalf last season. At the beginning of the year, they just lined him up on the left side, which is exactly what he did at Ole Miss.
Right.
Everything was off that vertical plane. Then you see it more and more as you go along. You know, those slot fades, those working across the formation, even some routes on the right side. So it's not like DK was this perfect receiver coming to the NFL. They had a plan for it.
Yeah, sure.
I think you can do the exact same thing with Reagor, but those contested catches where Metcalf really shined last year, it's fair to wonder if you can get those same things.
I know
just
nothing.
Because the size is different.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I know nothing about Reagor, really, other than a few highlights I've seen, not even POA, not even film stuff yet. So I'm very intrigued. First off, I saw him in person and then saw him, in his spandex at the Combine. He's one of those guys that we're seeing is in fashion in the NFL right now. He's a wide receiver in a running back's body, at least it looks like to me. He played that style of game. Like, just from the highlights I saw, I felt like I saw maybe DJ Moore from the Carolina Panthers. Am I wrong in that? Or just, is he that style of player?
I would say there are more vertical shots in Reagor's game. Because I think where DJ is now, it's kind of in that Debo role where you want to get the ball to him on drags and slants.
Yeah, right, and then let him go.
Run after the catch.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, honestly, a lot of, because Reagor was playing with awful quarterback situation at TCU.
Right.
A lot of what they did was try to get the ball in his hands in any way possible. And some of that was also as a returner. He just looked super explosive there. And there's some correlation between being a successful returner in college and then that translating to big plays in the NFL.
Sure.
Not return-wise, because
but just explosive plays.
Exactly.
Right. Well, we got to all change our thought of the receiver position. It's no longer just all about like you got to be Jerry Rice and this perfect route runner and be really crisp with how your body language is. Like, it's changed. The NFL's changed. It's more weapons now. You can think of it that way. Like Deebo Samuel, like you just mentioned, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, they're maybe not the most nuanced wide receivers in the world, but they're explosive as hell. Their acceleration's off the charts. And with all the speed sweeps and the other creative ways to get the receivers the ball right now in the NFL, they're viewed as weapons more than maybe your traditional wide receiver.
And you're going to hear, like, who's this year's Deebo Samuel throughout the entire draft process. And if I can throw one name under the radar that's not going to go in the first round, but fits that mold, it's Antonio Gibson out of Memphis. He was actually listed as a running back at the Combine, which is great with the ball in his hands. But a lot of times at Memphis, he played as a slot receiver there. He's big, 6'1", 223 pounds, but just super fluid and comfortable with the ball in his hands. If you want one more, Lynn Bowden, who was a former quarterback at Kentucky, did a lot of those same things as well, worked as a slot receiver, but also looked very comfortable in the short, intermediate, and downfield games as well.
Right. Okay. One name that I did not see that I thought I would see in your first-round mock, Justin Jefferson from LSU.
Yeah.
Give us your little roundabout there.
I haven't gone deep on him, but whenever I did watch him on the surface, a lot of his success was in the slot.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like you can find that type.
Right.
Basically in any day of the draft.
Yeah, I got you.
And I don't know if I would spend a first-round pick on that. Like, I think it's different between him, Jefferson, and what A.J. Brown put out.
Right.
Okay? Because I loved A.J. Brown coming into the NFL. Because once DK Metcalf went out with an injury at Ole Miss, A.J. Brown then went on the outside and excelled there.
Right.
I think just Joe Brady, Joe Burrow, these types that were able to create and manufacture space for Jefferson allowed him to have a lot of success. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I don't know if he fits in that same top three that we were talking about earlier.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if I looked at him as the top three either. I don't know why. Again, I'm at my early stages. I thought he would be in that class, but
Denzel Mims might be up in
Mims
that class.
is another guy I would think is seriously there. Yes, I like what I've seen from him, and he's big, and of course, what he did at the combine 40-wise and all that, that's going to make people go back. Yeah,
great Senior Bowl, too. I wasn't there, but that's just what you hear from people.
Well, no, everybody has said that. No doubt about it. Let's see. Anything else we wanted to hit on here?
Can I get your read on Herbert?
Please.
Herbert and Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Have you gotten to
I haven't really got to Jordan Love, no.
Because this is a totally different dynamic.
Yes.
Because Herbert, and we've had this conversation just in the hallways here, has all the tools that you want, right? I mean, it looks like he throws absolute lasers.
Yes.
He has a size. The athleticism is eye-popping. But what I'm most nervous about when I watch him is if he has that mentality game to game, even drive to drive, of, okay, the structure is going to break down and I'm going to create something outside of it. The more I do this, and I haven't been doing this for that long, but the more I do this, I realize that's more of a mentality and a confidence than a tools thing. And we kind of associate athleticism with mobility and running off script when it really is a mentality.
No, it is. I think without a doubt, you're right there. I think it's fair to question that with Justin Herbert, too. I think that's one of the things going around about him is his personality, his, alpha male stature. Is he going to be a vocal leader? All those things. Of course, the concerns you hear that he's never really been outside of Eugene, Oregon and all that. From what I've seen to this point, I do think there's enough of them. And first off, we've had this guy. That offense sucks in Oregon. All right, there's no other way to put it. So he's in a tough spot. But from what I've seen to this point, man, I've seen enough throws where I go, ooh, I don't think anybody else in college football can make that throw right there.
Yeah.
And then to your point, hey, there are times where I'd go, damn, I wish he'd just leave the pocket and go make a play and scramble and make a throw. I've seen it. I know he can do it. Would I like to see it more? Yes. I also think, his game, as far as what you're talking about there, his size. We had this little combo in the hallway the other day. His size can be that too.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't always have to be scrambling around and, I ran and extended the plays. You could be a, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers type where, the pocket's collapsing. It doesn't matter. I'm just big and strong and I can still throw a 25-yard in cut with people around me. It doesn't matter. So those are the things I'm continuing. I'm early stages with him and all these guys. I'm going to kind of come up with my quarterback rankings here in 2 weeks, but
nice.
I'm interested to see more of the guy as we go along.
And I feel like when you watch Jordan Love play, actually I feel like Jordan Love might have watched like a Patrick Mahomes highlight tape before every single one of his games and thinks, okay, I'm going to do that in the field now.
Right.
Because so much of it is that backyard, outside of structure.
Sure.
Not saying that that's Patrick Mahomes' game, but he offers that.
Yeah, right.
And I think Jordan then wants to be like, okay, I'm watching these highlights, then doing the exact same thing. He's an interesting one because it's somewhat like Josh Allen coming out of school out of Wyoming, where his final season was probably the worst situation he's been in at the college level.
Right.
All the starters leave, coaches, whatever.
Statistically, it wasn't a great year, 20-17.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if NFL teams have that same concern that I have with Herbert right now, that they want someone that is comfortable in chaos, that's all that I think Jordan Love really brings to the table.
Yeah.
So my issue is that in those situations, it's also not the perfect decision.
Right.
It's not a beautiful ball.
Right.
It's like he is kind of playing this backyard style, and it leads to a lot of mistakes and a lot of bad throws.
Yes.
So in that regard, a team's going to have to harness him that way.
I think that's what's going to hold him out of the top 10, where I hear people say, oh, he's going to be in the top 10. I just want to go, that's just nice, early March talk. I don't think when the other coaches and QB coaches start to get out of free agency mode and start to dive into these quarterbacks, I think that Jordan Love, who I still think is a first-round talent, I just think his name will move out of that top 10 combo, and it'll be somewhere where'd you have him at? Number
18 to the Dolphins.
I could see something like that. That would be about where I would think he would be, somewhere between 16 and 26, somewhere in that range that he ends up with a team that's not desperate to have him right now. Maybe can make him sit a year. Right. And I think that probably goes for Herbert, too. I think those are two guys like Burrow and Tua ready to go right now. If they're healthy, bam, you can throw them on the field, they're ready to play. Herbert, Love, I think they're both guys that I'd probably like to see play more or sit a year, but I got to see more of Jordan Love before I give anything, a staple there. You the man, dude.
Thanks,
Good
dude.
Shit. Anything else you want to get off your chest here that's interesting to you?
Again, I would just keep in mind how many teams at the top of the draft need left tackles.
Yeah.
Washington, the Giants, the Dolphins, the Chargers, right tackle, and obviously the Cardinals. I would throw out the Browns as well. and it's the perfect year for that. So
Perfect year.
It might not be, you know, the most fun position to watch, but that tackle group is really special.
Well, yeah, it looks like it's really special. You're right. We have a lot of teams that need tackle help. Free agency does not have a lot of tackle play in it. I mean, you're talking about Jack Conklin, Brian Bulaga, Jason Peters, which is risky at his age.
Trading for Trent Williams.
Right. I mean, it's a limited group there. So, yeah, maybe one or two teams find their guy here through free agency. But I'm with you. I can see a run here with this offensive tackle position.
Let's talk again, Chris.
Let's talk in a few weeks when I have more knowledge to play your game here, okay, and have intelligent conversations. But everybody check out Josh Norris, Rotoworld, everything he does. He's the man. It's a good group of guys. Him and his posse like to wreak havoc on the internet. That's it for Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Hope everybody enjoyed the podcast. We'll be back next week. We're going to have it's going to be a different week. I mean, it's going to be a different few weeks, it sounds like, with coronavirus, all right? But we're still going to be making content, and we're going to have lots of videos come out through the week about free agent reactions, team fits, everything that goes with that. So look out for that. I don't know where I'm going to be. I might be doing some of this at home. I might be doing it here in the studio. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Everybody wash your hands, wash your ass, wash your face, stay away from large groups of people. And Josh said wash your ass too. All right, peace out. We're done. See ya. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Sims Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.